Aubrey.
I'm Derrick.
I'm Mary Lee.
Mom.
I'm Mom.
We're with 210 Game Con. We are
Back home.
back
Home again.
home from Gen Con. So if we look ragged and tired,
It's because we are.
it's because we are. It's because we've been up since about 3:30 this morning, Indiana time, and it is still relatively. It's like 8 here, but which is 9 there.
Nine
but
there, yeah.
It's nap time now.
So-
and we had an eventful last day in that Derrick had to leave early and his flight was delayed because of the hurricane that's in Florida right now. Ended up having to fly, instead of flying into San Antonio, into Austin, and it was a whole thing. So
Yeah.
we'll tell you all about that one-on-one one day.
Yeah. So
It wasn't a lot of fun, but it was a rough day, but we're glad to be home.
It was an adventure, but it's not exactly what we planned. That kind of adventure.
But from what I understand, a lot of people had their flights
Oh, yeah.
Were
delayed and
displaced.
canceled and were displaced or stuck in Indy. So I feel very lucky that we are home.
Well, one thing
Yeah.
is that there's so much to do at Gen Con, and you're going and going and going so much. I had no idea there was a hurricane. No clue.
I didn't either.
Mom
I
didn't
mean,
either
I didn't
until
read.
last
I didn't
night.
read any type of notifications that came up to say something about it. I didn't read them. I just, I'll get to it later, and then you open your phone up to get to the Gen Con app to figure out what you're doing next, and it's
Yeah.
and so I had no idea that there was going to be a hurricane until it was time to fly.
Right.
Personally, am impressed because we did not slow down for you.
I stopped one
and
time.
you kept up. You kept up. You went with us.
He's
and
Sailor Mo.
You went for the gusto, because I even have a hard time thinking, how am I doing this? And for your first convention to be the
Huge.
biggest convention in North America, you handled it really well.
Well, thank you.
Round
I
of
enjoyed it.
applause.
Yay, Mom!
So, as a first time big convention, did you have a favorite thing? Did you have something that if someone else was going to Gen Con for the first time, that you would say, this is kind of how we did it, but I would recommend that you try such and such?
Well, there's so much of it that I thoroughly enjoyed. That was like a highlight for me anyway. But I have decided that I will get a cane with a chair, a little seat that folds out for me to sit when I mark my spot to go into that convention hall. And I'm going to have one of them flip out fans to fan myself to stay cool.
It was funny because Mom would see somebody walking by and she would say, next year. Like somebody with a big fan, and she's like, next year.
Next year,
I'm
yes.
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. Highlights for me were seeing the cosplay. I love that. And just, they were kind of like the little Easter eggs that would walk by in the crowd of people. As a matter of fact, there was one guy that he wasn't really cosplay. He just stood out in the crowd
Yes.
for me. And
I did not ask his name today.
no,
I sure did
the
not.
funny thing about it is, I bet I saw that man in a crowd 8-10 times while we were walking, and I mean crowd, but you could not miss him. He had hair horns, and I mean they were tall.
Yeah.
They were, and he rode on our
he was
plane
on our
from
plane.
Indiana to Phoenix.
He boarded right behind me today,
Yes.
and I said, right off the bat, I said, "How was your con?" And he said, "Oh, it was great." I said, "Yeah, I can't help but say that we saw you a couple of times, and
Yeah,
you're
he
hard,
stood out in the
you're
crowd.
hard to miss."
Yeah.
When we're talking about different costumes, so there is there's a game store here in San Antonio called Night Watch Games.
Yes.
And there's also a place right next to it called the Sanctuary.
Yes.
And Brenda and Porrick Mulgrew run that operation over there. Porrick's costume was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
ran
got
into
With the
him.
face paint and the fur,
We ran into him shortly after we ran into Rainn Wilson.
Yes.
So we were still in the middle of fangirling when, or this one was in the middle of fangirling.
And then
when we ran
his
into
costume
Port,
was fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic. He looked great.
So the unofficial trinket trade, which I thought was really cool. I hope that that's something that Gen Con continues. I know that was the first year for them to do that. My first year too. So as many times as I go is how old that will be if they'll continue.
Yeah, I think it's really cool too that was fan generated. Like that was a con goer that was like, hey, I'm gonna make friendship bracelets or bookmarks or whatever, and just try to meet people and build a community around something that we all have in common. So, kudos to them for thinking to do that too.
That one of the best things I think about Gen Con is trying to meet new people, because everybody's excited to be there. Everybody's excited about something there, and usually something that they're excited about, you've had some sort of experience with it that day. And that's what I thought was cool about the trinket trade, even though I wasn't there, is that it gave you an opportunity to just have an excuse to meet somebody.
Exactly.
And if you have an excuse to meet somebody, I couldn't find an excuse to meet Rainn Wilson, but if you have an excuse to meet somebody, it's always...
You should have walked up to him and told him, just like I did everyone at the trinket trade. After we traded everything, I looked at him and said, you enjoy your con. And if you would have walked up to Rainn Wilson and told him that, he probably would have grinned at you.
It probably would have been pretty cool, but I stand my ground. I stand by do not engage.
I still don't know who he is.
And another thing too is I'm sorry we missed the cosplay contest, because we were in the middle of arcs, and it was like we were all right there. It was like 2 points here and there.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt because if you've watched us at all, you know I'm not a very competitive person. I'm not a competitive
Till you take
player.
her things she wants to use.
But and I don't like confrontational games either. In general, I am not a confrontational player. I will give somebody the point. I'll not take the space. But for some reason, that day playing arcs, it's a little confrontational. It's a little competitive. And I kept looking at Derrick and I was like, I want to win this game.
She was angry.
I really want to win there. Like Lisa says, I want to win. And I did.
And we were,
yes, she did.
There's five different stories or whatever generations. I know that we may get a correction. 5 different something. 5 different phases or whatever. Chapters. So, or you score the first one to score 30 points. Well, we were about to Aubrey was about to shut it down.
It was.
At the end of the 4th chapter, so we could go to the costume contest. But something happened to where she ended up with 29 points at the end of the 4th chapter.
Someone took a card away.
Yes.
Somebody took a card away and I couldn't get the in-game scoring that I had planned on getting.
And so...
not the Tyrant? Is it the Tyrant?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for captives on a card, and somebody took it and shut it down where nobody could get it. Could get it.
Well, and
it bumped it to the next chapter.
And I ended up with like 30 captives.
He did. I'll put that on there. I'll show the picture of that.
I was like, well, we'll just shut it down here. We're learning for the sake of learning. We'll go to the costume contest and we'll just shut it down at this one, and we'll just give, just put it down here that you won. Oh, no, that was not going to happen.
Just forget the cosplay costume
contest. I wanted to really win, not an asterisk.
Now, Aubrey, did you have a favorite?
Oh, gosh. The thing that was really, really cool is that this was Mom's first con, and Derrick and I go to a lot of different places, and we do a lot of different cons, big, small, crazy cons, or like quiet cons. It's like all a little different, right? But Mom and I had a chance to con by ourselves a lot because you were doing painting classes and stuff. Yeah. So that was really kind of cool that we got to kind of navigate things on our own. And so like the True Dungeon and the 5e
That was
RPG
fun.
that we did.
Yeah.
And I like that was a lot of fun just to see. Like I enjoyed, like there were a lot of things that I enjoyed, but like overall it was watching Mom look around and just enjoy herself.
I was a
so
kid
I'm
in
glad
a
you
candy
enjoyed
store.
yourself.
I loved it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
loved
thought
it.
you would have said Mark Gunn singing "Happy Birthday" to you. That was pretty
I forgot
cool.
about that.
That's what I said. There's so many things that just stand out.
And
yes,
now
I had a great birthday before we ever went to see Mark Gunn, and then just walking up to him, I told him, flat out, I was like, I'm the one who let the cat out of the bag on that, by the way. I told him, I said, I've really had a great day today. Today's my birthday, but you have topped it off. That beats everything. Just made it really wonderful. And then he said, "Oh, today's your birthday." He said, "I have a song," and he sang, and I was like,
I was just happy birthday.
"A Hobbit, happy birthday."
So he's talking about something that he hates that he missed. Is there anything that you wanted to do that you didn't get to do?
Oh, there's probably quite a few of them, but that cosplay costume contest, I really wanted to see, because it was nice walking through in a crowd and seeing, one or two of them walking together and all, and so I kind of just snapped pictures on the way out of what we had seen that day, and there were quite a few of them. The gelatinous cube that was there, I wanted to get in it.
I saw that he was asked to take that down.
I know.
So I don't know.
But
so
I would have loved my
cube person. It was awesome.
Yes.
I thought it was great. And if
We
it were up
passed
to me, you would have been up there all day.
Yes, we passed by and we should have hopped in right then that second. We didn't know
so
you
we
were
didn't
going to
miss it.
leave.
Was it like something you could get inside?
Yes, it was it was piped with like green plastic.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it had like a little entrance or whatever. He was like guarding the gelatinous cube.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Last year at Gen Con, I had my Gen Con gelatinous cube shirt, and it was that period of the day where everybody's trying to get to the convention, and I push the door to open, and the elevator door opens, and the elevator is completely full, and I said, I guess I'll catch the next one, and a guy looked at me and he goes, "There's always room for the gelatinous cube," and they opened up and let me in.
I would love to have seen that.
And last year, that was my highlight
Oh,
last year.
yeah, I bet.
So, if he was taking up room, there's always room.
There's always room for the
always
gelatinous
room
cube.
for him. You bet.
So I have to admit, there is one thing that I really regret that we missed out on, and it's really kind of sad to talk about, but we missed out on playing games.
I did. That was
We
different.
didn't play like 6 games the whole
6 or 8.
weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
And when we go to a con, we usually carve out some time during the day to squeeze in a couple of games or whatever. Or at night we stay up late. But it was so busy by the end of the day. I was done.
When we went to the room that was open in our hotel for the open gaming,
It was always
there
full.
were no tables. So
And
we
by that
couldn't
time,
really-
I was done.
we
I was tired.
We couldn't get to a table. Aubrey and I got to.
We got to play White
We got
Castle.
to play White Castle late
The
at
White
night
Castle.
one night. So we played. Arcs took us 4 hours,
It
so
did
we
take
could have
us 4
played
hours.
like 3 different games in that period of time. But
I mean, I am by no means
Yeah.
complaining, but I just kind of missed that. Oh, hey, we sit down, because even at PAX, it's got a lot of stimulus there, and there are. I mean, it can be overwhelming, and so we always take some time to sit down, sit in the board game room, and just kind of take a minute and take a breath. And here, it was so fast and furious, like I couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, that was
We couldn't
probably
stop.
why I enjoyed Yokohama and ARC so much, was because it was, we get to sit in the air, sit in the air conditioner, take my shoes off, shove them under the table, be comfortable for a little bit, however long this is going to take, and enjoy it.
Eat a snack.
And have some one-on-one time with you guys. So.
It really didn't really do anything to the actual for the most part, stuff. But I got lost in that hurricane and my luggage was left out in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
about 5 of my brand new games that aren't released yet got waterlogged, and I was really kind of heartbroken about that. But when you open them up, the components were still okay. I mean, everything was, well, you know,
salvageable.
like John will
Salvageable.
tell you, you know, most of my games are in the shrink wrap. You know, so obviously the games were in the shrink wrap. But
which was
even
a conscious decision this year to make sure that we didn't play the games that we bought, so that they would travel easier. Travel home easier, and so it was really lucky that we didn't have the shrink off.
Yeah, because if I would have had the shrink off, those all of the new games would have been ruined.
Yeah, they would have.
And
so we've had highlights and disappointments. But the
disappointments really weren't disappointments.
No. Nobody's complaining at all.
Yeah, no.
Nobody is complaining at all. So, but what would you say is your top one game, if you can narrow it down to one game that we got at the exhibit hall, or do you have to have more than one game that you would have to say?
Well,
that you're looking forward to playing?
Well,
there's too many.
To check the components, we had to take a lot of these games out of the shrink.
Yeah, we did.
So, one game that I'm excited about that I haven't played yet is Windmill Valley.
It's so pretty.
That game designer, he's
is that Danny Garcia?
Danny Garcia. He's one of our favorite game designers, and I know I'm gonna love it. So I hate to give a favorite game that I got at Gen Con without playing Windmill Valley first.
Yeah.
I really need to give that one a try.
Well, maybe that's the way I should put it instead, is what game are you, that we got and brought home, are you most excited to play?
Windmill Valley.
We picked up Panda Royale, which I'm excited about too, because a lot of the people that come to Black Potion on Thursdays are our Dungeons and Dragons friends, and they love dice. And Buddy, does that game have dice?
Yes, it does.
And they're pretty.
And they're so pretty.
Pretty dice.
Pretty.
Turnip.
I have never heard of this game until I pulled it from the bag.
Well, the reason I picked it up is because, you know, when you're, one of the hints that these YouTubers will tell you is go to the BGG game room and play a few games, and you'll get a good idea for what you want to hit the vendor hall up for.
Right.
And I heard someone checking out a game, and they were checking out Turnip, and the gentleman checking them out says, "Oh yeah, this one, everybody has really enjoyed this one." He said that we can't keep copies of it on the table. So I was gonna grab it when we went on Saturday, but it wasn't on the table. So I grabbed it downstairs.
There you go.
So in true Gen Con fashion, we like to buy games before we try them. But the good part of that is it comes back to the community, because that's the 210 library. Mm-hmm. So we're building the library not just for us, but for our friends.
I've been getting into the small box games, because when we just bring a portion of our library on Thursdays, and the small box games I've really enjoyed, not because I'm lazy and don't want to carry anything so heavy, but these small box games play 6 players, 5 players, 8 players, and when we play one of those games that has up to 8 players, we can't play that at home.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's nice to be able to have that game and understand its capacity.
Yeah.
You know, by playing it like that. So,
I agree.
So some of the small box games I'm excited about.
I'm excited to see that. I know it's a one-person game, but the Gloomhaven Buttons and Bones. I want to see how they have that packed in that box.
Mom has been asking Derrick to open that thing for 3 days.
The miniatures are like this big.
He hasn't opened it, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna unbox it for Mom here in a little bit.
Yay!
So I'm excited about playing River Valley Glassworks.
Oh yeah,
Because I didn't get a chance to sit down and play it.
Yeah,
And I am a sucker for the cute animal games.
it's pretty.
They get me every time.
Yeah.
And you got to take a picture with the otter.
And we did get to take a picture with the
We
otter
did.
and the alligator.
Yes.
What did anybody learn anything?
Learn anything?
Did you
I
learn
learned
anything?
that it pays to buy really good shoes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bought some tennis shoes. Normally I'm a Hey Dude fan, but Gen Con and Hey Dude is not in the same sentence.
That is a very good point. If
No.
I would say
Good
that
shoes.
needs to be on everybody's suggestions
You need good shoes. And I found some that hugged my feet perfectly. So
I learned that even when you don't get a good block for the hotel and you have to go somewhere off campus and you have to be far away, keep checking the website because eventually something might pop up, because that's what happened to us. We had a really bad pool, didn't get in on the hotel
everything
block.
everything was sold out by the time I got to it.
So we got a Verbo, which was 1 or 2 miles away, something like that. And we were like, oh, we'll make it work. And I just kept checking the website. And about a month ago, the Hyatt House had a room that opened up outside of the block, very reasonably priced. So I will never just settle for what we get anymore. I will always continue to check.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I learned. Did you learn anything?
Not really. No, I guess one thing that kind of, my perspective changed was you don't have to get every single game that's on the vendor floor. Although, if you look at we did get a lot of games.
We counted. We came home with, and not including expansions, not including upgraded components, not including the things that we bought for prizes for the con or for Lisa and Ryan to bring home to them. We bought 22 separate games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's
For Gen Con.
A lot.
for Gen Con. It's a lot, but
and,
it could have been a lot worse.
And like the Oink games, they're $20. They're this big, so 5 of them were those.
Yeah.
5 of them were those. That puts things into perspective. And
that's still 5 games.
And I did. It allowed me to be able to just kind of go with the flow a little bit more, and that kind of.
I did notice that you were a little more laid back about not having to be there right at the break of dawn when the line started forming up, and that you weren't having to be in the vendor hall the whole time.
Well, last year when you missed Queen by midnight,
yes, I did,
and you were really flustered about it, that day I was like, this really is not worth it, getting all worked up. And I kind of felt like, that was going to be my stance. My stance was going to be, I'm only going to line up for the vendor hall early one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then every other time, I'm just going to just go, and if it's not there, it's just not there. So I purposefully signed up for events every day, besides Thursday, that were going on at 10 o'clock. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I noticed it.
Now,
we missed you, Derrick.
One thing I learned is that I will never sign up for one at 8 o'clock again. Because that was just a disaster.
I understand.
I mean, my eye was still twitching when I woke up, and it was a painting class. I was like, this is not going to be good for the artistic development here. But, I was able to force myself to not
be overwhelmed by that FOMO and driven by that fear of.
This was a different Derrick than what I've seen like at BGG, because at BGG we couldn't keep up with him.
Yeah, he kind of slowed down.
Yeah, he definitely. I could keep up.
I mean, we conned the same.
Yeah,
but he was. I say slow down, but it's more like relaxed.
Yeah,
more like relaxed.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're excited. We've had a good, fun couple of days, and I hope you guys enjoyed our recap on this as much as we enjoyed doing this. So
yeah, and we hope you enjoyed the last few videos we've done. Be on the lookout for more videos in the next coming weeks as we start working our way through these games. Derrick and I playing them. Hopefully we'll get some friends in on the fun. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. We're at 210 GameCon. We're posting there all the time. And the website, 210gamecon.com. Tickets are on sale now.
Don't forget to get your tickets. They're starting to go.
October's not that far away.
Every day we get more and more people going, and that's going to be really exciting because we want to hang out and we want to play games with you guys.
That's right.
So anyway,
I'll be there.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I'll be there.
Come meet me in person.
All right, so that's it for us, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks. We'll see you guys next time.
GGWP.
Good game well played, y'all.
Bye.